Be advised, the opinions and views of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Naimbag nga rabi, masanto siya sa labid si kayo amin. Mayang gabi sa Tibok Mindanao, Visayas ug sa Luzon. Diyos mabalos, maray na banggi sa Indogabos. Bismillah, Rahmanirrahim, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Ako po si Erik Espina at ito ang inyong Republika. Sa gabing ito po ay mapalad po tayo dahil ang ating panauhin, nakakausapin ngayong gabi, ay isang veteranong politiko. Siya po ay isang madunong na public servant. Malawak na po ang kanyang karanasan at matatawag natin ay siya ay kasama na rin sa kasaysayan ng ating Republika. Isa po na maaari nating pagmalaki sa kanya, siya po ay isang abogado at isa sa katangian niya ay bar top notcher. Isang bagay na hindi na natin masyadong nakikita sa Senado natin ngayon at talagang nakakaawa. Ipinagmamalaki ko pong ipakilala ang ating Manong. Siya rin po ay dating naging Senate President, si Manong Ernie Maceda. Mr. Expose.
Magandang gabi, Eric. Magandang gabi, Eric din.
Yes.
With a K.
Yes. Ito, kasama natin si Tocayo Eric San Juan, publisher po ng Pahayagang Opinyon, kolumnista at political analyst. Manong Ernie, first question, hindi natin pwedeng iwasan yung usapin po tungkol sa impeachment.
Okay.
Paano po dapat natin matandaan? How will history remember the impeachment? Those that went against the conviction of Senator Corona or those who voted in favor for his conviction?
Siyempre, yung mga who voted against conviction will be remembered more. At of course, nobody can ever forget Senator Miriam Santiago with all her, acting.
So yung tatlong po ay mas tatak sa utak ng sambayanan?
Yes, kasi yung dalawang po parang iisa lang boses nun eh.
Doon naman sa bumoto para sa conviction ni Chief Justice Corona, sino sa palagay ninyo ang tumatak sa isip naman ng ating publiko?
Well, 90% po ng tatak si Senate President Juan dahil sa magaling na kanyang paghawak ng kaso.
Si Lito Lapid po naman para sa masa sa tingin ninyo. What can you say?
Well, siguro si Lito Lapid maalala lang 1 minuto tapos nakalimutan na.
Okay. Kayo po, kung kayo po ay nagkataon and you were there as Senator of the Republic, how would you have appreciated, the entire trial and how would you have voted?
Well, bilang isang abogado, I would have been more strict in appreciating the evidence presented on the basis of legal rules. Para sa akin, as articulated by Miriam and Bongbong, mukhang legally the law was on Justice Corona's side. Pero gaya nga sabi ng marami, it's a political process and sa totoo lang, nung inamin ni Chief Justice Corona na he had $2.4 million in the bank plus 80.70 million pesos in the bank, convicted na siya kasi mahirap tanggapin na ang isang Chief Justice merong ganong karami pera. Inisip mo kagad, ay saan ang galing to?
Given that data, that information, if you were a senator, you would have still given him the benefit of the doubt.
Hindi ko masasabi kasi...
Would you have presumed him innocent?
Hindi ko masasabi kasi may mga papasok na factor. Unang-una, kung ako kinausap ni Pinoy, paano, how would I have reacted to his request?
Okay.
Kung ako naman ay kinausap ng Iglesia ni Cristo, so I would have considered that too. So at the moment, since I was not actually there and I was not the beneficiary of all these different inputs, I cannot say how finally, you know, sabi ko siya totoo, nung sa U.S. basis military agreement, which I voted to reject.
Yes.
I made that decision also on the last day.
And there were also forces that brought to bear on you,
including Cory Aquino going to the Senate to personally lobby, which to me was a turn-off. Sabi ko, one of the reasons I voted to reject is I didn't want Cory to feel, or the President of the Philippines to feel, that she can influence the Senate that easily.
In this case po, did you feel that Malacanang's hand was really the fingerprints and even the footprints of Malacanang was all over the Corona case?
Not only the fingerprints and the footprints, pati the lipstick.
Yung pagbisita po ni President Pinoy doon sa Iglesia ni Cristo, did you think that was the turning point?
Hindi naman, because I think nung bumisita siya, if you'll recall, nung nagbiting yung 7, nung 2 days before the voting sa bahay ni Lauren, tapos na yung desisyon eh. But that shows you also how it could have turned the other way.
Yes, yes.
If those 7 decided to vote to acquit, he would have been acquitted.
So, tapos na po lahat yan. Ang publiko, tinitignan ng naging desisyon. Was this politics as usual? Business as usual? Or was the bar of accountability and transparency and the current mantra of matuwid na taan better served under these conditions?
Well, this was politics and business as usual.
Wala ko ba talagang magandang pwede bang idagdag doon pagkatapos doon, Mr. Senators?
Hindi ba lumabas yung, I don't know why he had to release it so soon, na 2 or 3 days after the voting, release yung pork barrel ng mga senador. So that's business as usual.
Di ibig sabihin yung parang ang lumalabas po dito, yung conviction ni Chief Justice Corona, parang he was a targeted victim and he became convenient in the musical chairs where everybody is running around. Nagkataon lang that the music stopped.
At saka pinatunayan muli yung prinsipyo na mahirap lumaban sa presidente. On a lower level nga, sinasabi, you cannot fight City Hall. Talagang masyadong mapuder at maraming mga kasangkapan ang presidente para ikaw ay parusahan o ikaw ay pahirapan.
At the end of the tunnel, do we see that because Chief Justice Corona was removed, does this create now the so-called chilling effect in the judiciary? And not only for the judiciary, but all possible political opponents of Malacanang?
Everybody is now on notice that one says so of the president, impeachment charges will be filed. And kaya nga ngayon, meron na immediate debate. Yung bang approval ng PCOS machine after the Corona impeachment shows that the Supreme Court has already felt a chilling effect.
Alam mo, Senator, ang problema natin dito kung after this, no, meron pa bang tatapusing problema kay Corona, just like yung bang sinasabi, alam mo, parang napakaswerte rin ni Presidente na Corona admitted that he has lots of money, no? Pero ang problema ngayon, yung bang mga perang yan na lumalabas hindi unexplained, no? Explained well. Yan ba igagarnish ng gobyerno?
Hindi pwede. Kasi lumabas din naman among others na merong binayad na 34 million kay Mrs. Corona. Lumabas naman na si Mrs. Corona ay marami ring Kangamana. At lumabas din na si Chief Justice Corona, bago naging government official, SGB partner. Ang laki ng kinikita
SGB, saka bankero.
ng isang SGB partner. So meron din siya talagang ipon.
Plus yung parents niya. Dati kasing taga-BIR yung father niya Senator.
Ayun na nga, lumabas siya sa mga texts.
Do you see, Mr. Senator, that aside from the impeachment process, the palace is going to pursue this to its logical end, where criminal cases will be filed against CJ Corona or the former CJ Corona?
Sinabi na ni
Sigurado na yun?
President Aquino na
Hakabulin talaga.
everybody has to be treated equally, and kung may kasalanan ka, may kasalanan ka. Again, we go back to this saying, once you have tasted blood, you want some more.
Do you sense, Mr. Senator, na parang hindi lang ito politika, pero parang mas malalim pa yung pinaguhugutan ng palasyo o ng Malacanang, na parang ayaw kong man sabihin, pero minsan may mga nagtaong nagsasabi na parang personal ang paghahabol.
Well, we can consider it that because ito nagsimula pa nung bago pa umupo si President Aquino nung pinag-uusapan yung appointment ni Corona, noon hindi pa siya proklamado, nag-issue na kagad siya ng opinion na hindi dapat siya na-appoint at hindi dapat siya tumanggap. At nag-issue na rin siya ng opinion that he will not recognize it. So from the very beginning, dead set yung kanyang mind na to get rid of Corona.
But if the President approached you, if President Pinoy approached you, how would you have advised him to handle CJ Corona before he took his oath as President?
Yeah, but since he was sitting as Chief Justice, the first thing I would have advised is he should have taken his oath before Chief Justice Corona. Because we're talking about the position, not about the person. President of the Philippines traditionally should take his oath before the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, whoever it is.
And that would be your justification to tell the President-elect that this is nothing personal. This is about position, vis-a-vis position and tradition.
Yes, and you can imagine he went after Mercedes Gutierrez.
Yes.
That took about 7 months. He went after Corona. That took about 10 months. Imagine if he decided na patawarin na lang si Corona and accept it for whatever its reality is. He would not have wasted 10 months of valuable time. It's, according to a lot of people, he should have devoted to more pressing problems. That's my explanation why he dropped 24% in Metro Manila. Metro Manila, I felt at a certain point of the Corona
Impeachment.
Saga, was feeling na, man ba ito masyado nating inaasikaso, ang dami nating problema. Very common yun, reaction na yun. That's part of the reason why he dropped 24%. And Metro Manila, being more knowledgeable and intelligent, the other reason is because of the Metro Manila believed the Hacienda Luisita interest of the president.
If you were going to make percentages, which one would get majority? 60% Hacienda Luisita or 60% because he did not recognize the Chief Justice as should be the Chief Justice?
Well, it's not exactly that he did not recognize that. What I was pointing at is the waste of time and the corresponding lack of solution to immediate problems. Unemployment is up, poverty figures are up, economy prices are high, etc., etc.
And how can you explain the contrast that when Mercedes Gutierrez resigned, no further proceedings were undertaken or launched by Malacanang?
Well, precisely, again, as I said, since they were able to get her to resign, so they tasted blood, so they thought that they could get Corona also to resign. But unfortunately for the president and unfortunately for Corona, he did not resign. So they had to go through the whole 5 months of trial, etc.
Saka, Senator, remember, look what happened to the Arab nations, no, it has a mismanaged government, right? Ito, parang ganito, parang meron din semblance na nangyari ngayon na after Corona, what's next? We have a mismanaged administration, governance, at siyempre, pagka may ganyang problema, especially nag-down plunge na yung kanyang survey rating, ay kaya-kaya niya makontrol yung social unrest.
Well, I don't know if mismanaged is the right term to use. I'm inclined to think that it is unmanaged. That there is no real management.
He's in over his head.
That's what a lot of people say.
Okay.
So who's minding the store? Sa tingin nyo?
Well, he is trying to mind this store, but unfortunately, this store is too big.
Yun problema.
Senator, sa tingin nyo, is this the end of the saga or there's another target? Is the political gun looking at another target?
Definitely. You know, President Aquino is a sharpshooter, and I think it's part of his character that he always wants to have a target.
So there's got to be, we're going into the blame game again and again.
Well, but there could be real targets, you know. One of these days, with corruption starting to rear its ugly head, there should be real targets.
Your fearless forecast. Of late, there are 38 names, nominees. Who do you think is leading the pack for...
Well, with due respect to all the outsiders,
Yes.
I don't see any outsider name that really stands up above the rest. Maybe some of them are very intellectually gifted,
Yes.
but they don't have management experience. They have not been a judge,
Yes.
nor have they
Practiced.
been a cabinet member or I say government executive, so kulang sila, and vice versa. There are people who even now, even those in the Supreme Court, you know, that are far from the likes of JBL Reyes,
Wala na yan.
Concepcion,
Roberto Concepcion.
or even outside of the Senate, far from the likes of Recto and Jokno. Wala tayong nakikitang ganong kagaling. But suma total, considering na walang masyadong outstanding sa outsiders, I think finally the fallback will be to choose one of the 9 associate justices that have been nominated. And anyway, if the president is minded to appoint for one reason or another somebody from the private sector or outsider, then he can also appoint him to take the vacancy that will be created by an associate justice being appointed Chief Justice. And give him some experience as an associate justice before he finally install him. Maybe if I were the president, I would talk to my proposed appointee. I will appoint you Chief Justice, pero let's have a covenant that if I find your performance unsatisfactory, that after 3 years you will resign.
Or I will impeach you again. Nakikita nyo ba ho ba, dun sa column po ninyo dito sa Philippine Star, yung Search for Truth, ang nabanggit po ninyo si Acting Chief Justice Antonio Carpio. Ang pangalawa ay si Solicitor General Francis Hardillesa at yung sumusunod ay si DOJ Secretary De Lima. Yun ang
medyo lamang.
Lamang, yung tatlo na yun.
And lately, after her nomination, parang nababanggit rin yung Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. Maaring siya
close din kay President yan.
Ma-consider.
May mga pumapansin kay Acting Chief Justice Antonio Carpio na parang dapat daw hindi yata makasama dahil ito yung isa sa mga kumukontra daw or kasama dun sa tumulong sa conviction yata. What do you think of that, Senator?
Well, pabor sa kanya the fact that tradition
Pinaka-senior.
He is the most senior,
senior.
and therefore he has some sort of a claim to it. Secondly, we have to concede that even compared to some of the justices, I think he's one notch higher in intellect or intelligence.
Correct.
His opinions have been very well written.
Correct.
Although I have noticed one person there whose opinions are really excellent, and that is Justice Arturo Birrion.
Yes, isa rin po yan sa mga nadidinig ko na magaling din. Si,
Top-notcher
yes.
with executive experience, Secretary of Labor, but having the baggage that is identified with GMA.
Yun. Correct.
So parang dark horse po siya. He may be a dark horse, no?
Pwede.
Ito po si Secretary De Lima, sa palagay po ninyo. Kung tanggapin niya, that means kailangan umalis siya sa JBC kasi siya ang isa sa mga ex-officio member ng JBC.
Dapat. It's a matter of delicadeza.
Paano po yan, Senate President? No? Kasi ex-officio member siya ng JBC. Ano hong proseso dyan? Who takes over now?
Wala, siguro. Baka...
Kasi wala nakalagay sa konstitusyon. Anong proseso? Yan ang ano dyan.
So, imbes na 7, 6 na lang sila.
May mga taong hindi naman as excited na si Secretary De Lima naman na maging Chief Justice. Should we celebrate? Is the reason for us also to be happy if she's also made Chief Justice? Palagay po ninyo?
Well, let's put it this way.
Sige. Maganda po yung sinasabi ninyo.
She could be accepted for the simple reason na kung mag-grade tayo, kung halimbawa in intelligence, for example, si Carpio, si Brion, sabihin na natin si Pangalangan, sabihin na natin
magaling din yun.
na nominate si Gilbert Chudoro, na nominate si Ronnie Zamora.
Teddy Boy Locsin.
Let's say ang grade nila ay 90.
Okay.
Si Justice Secretary De Lima, ang grade niyan mga 85. So para bang pasable na. hindi na ganong ka-objectionable. So kung yun ang gusto ng presidente, well, kailangan magkibit na lang tayo. Say, well, what can you do? Yan ang gusto. Tingnan natin kung anong magagawa niya.
Hindi kaya yun ang reason, Senator, kaya in-adjust yung time frame.
To July 2. July 2 yata.
O meron pang napupusuan si Presidente coming from the
Siyam
outside.
na yung justices na nominate. Bukod sa siyam na justices, 40 na yung nominate. Ewan ko, wala na akong maisip ang nasa labas na pwede pang i-nominate.
Senator, ito itatanong ko sa inyo. No? You have seen the best of both systems. You are a product of the 1935 Constitution where there was a Commission on Appointments.
Yes.
Very powerful Commission on Appointments. Pati mga piskal kailangan dumaan sa Commission on
Safety
Appointments.
valve.
At ang budget talagang hawak ng Commission on
Correct,
Appointments. Pati mga justices kailangan dumaan sa Commission on Appointments. Nakaigi ba itong Judicial and Bar Council? Kasi ang tatanda ko sa 1987 Constitution, dapat para to depoliticize daw the entire process. Or was it better during your time in the 1935 Constitution with a Commission on Appointments? Sasagutin po yan ni Manong Ernie sa pagbabalik po ng Republika. Huwag po kayong bibitiw.
Gandang tanong.
We are back and kasama po muna natin si Eric San Juan at si Manong Ernie, Mr. Expose Maceda, Senate President, former Senate President. Manong Ernie, yung katanungan ko kanina, you've lived in both systems. You've seen the best and the worst of many of the administrations. You know the personalities involved.
Well, I think there is almost unanimous agreement, even among members of academia, that the JBC, Judicial and Bar Council, has not worked out well. Marami rin nakita na mga kapatid, kamag-anak, kaklase ng mga JBC members ang siyang na-appoint. And ang nangyari ay naging political in the sense na kung sinong gusto ng presidente, yun ang na-appoint, yun ang nanonominate. Samantalang dun sa Commission on Appointments, to begin with, you have 24 heads that are, kung meron kang mga sabing politicizing it, pero may balance because there are always people who will object pag maliwanag na hindi qualified ang isang nominee. So I think the old system is better and should be restored.
Yung 24 heads po is, para lang sa publiko natin, 12 senators and 12 members of Congress po, ano?
Actually, 25, including the Senate.
The Senate President, ano? And then, kanina nabanggit ko, pati mga fiscals dumadaan din sa commission appointments.
Pati mga police officers.
Ganon kalakas po ang commission appointments, ano?
Pati bureau directors. Yes.
Ano po nangyari? Bakit napasok itong JBC dito, ganitong klaseng sistema sa ating konstitusyon?
Alam mo kasi, pag merong constitutional convention, sa mahigit na kulang 200 yata, masyadong maraming magagaling na sinisingit yung gusto nila. At usually, sabihin, pagbigyan mo na si Con delegate so-and-so, yan lang ang pinapakiusap niya. So, well, I think the worst thing that they have adopted based on what has happened after it was adopted, yung naglagay sila ng term limits, number one.
Yes.
Hindi magandang resulta. Pangatlo, yung ginawa nilang 3-year term lang ang congressman at mga local officials. Yun hindi maganda naging resulta.
Hindi ho ba dapat 4 years yan noon?
No,
4 years, ginawa 3 years.
Sino ho ba ginagaya natin, mga Amerikano? Sino hong...
Mabuti lang hindi natin ginaya yung Amerikano todo-todo dahil sila 2-year term. Yun naman ang ginamit na argumento nun. Bakit hindi kayo papayag sa 3 years? Sa States nga, 2 years. So.
Mapunta po tayo sa politika. Ano po basa ninyo, what is happening to our politics now? In terms of alliances. You have UNA on one side. It's not turning out to be an opposition group exactly, but it is an alternative. Not yet. But it is taking in, how would I call it, critical voices of the present administration individually?
Because yung mga critical voices, yun ang anyway hindi pwedeng pumasok sa LP.
Okay.
So they have no choice but to go with UNA or with PDP Laban or PMP for that matter. And well, as I would say in English, our present party politics is in a state of flux. Here again, we can only blame the Constitutional Convention delegates. Because when they adopted the multiple party system at inalis nila yung two-party system, sumama ang tabas.
So, ang mangyayari po dito, mukhang ang lumalabas po, ang magsasama-sama Liberal Party, baka Nationalista Party, magsasama-sama sila?
Maaari.
Okay. Nakikita niyo pa buo ang NPC na baka kasama sa alyansa na yan?
The NPC, I think at this point in time is parang indifferent. Unang-una because the head, si Boss Landing, parang hindi na rin masyadong involved sa politics.
Okay.
And is more involved with his business and also with his personal health.
So at the end of the day, we see on one side, one block, NPLP, maybe down the line, down the local level, some NPC supporting members of the Liberal Party?
At the local level, ano yan?
Kanya-kanya?
Karambola yan.
Karambola.
In certain provinces, it will be LP,
and other parties.
And MPC. In some other parties, it will be MPC, UNA, in other parties. Like in Laguna, I know that Governor E.R. Ejercito is working for an LP una local coalition. So on the local level yan, it will depend case to case on the personalities involved.
Nakikita niyo po sa una will field a 12 at 13 ho ba ang hinahanap
Yes,
natin, no?
13, yes.
13 man and woman slate.
Definitely.
Aha.
At, for whatever it's worth, ang usap-usapan so far, I don't know if I'm hearing it only from people that are not objective, ang tingin nila mas malakas ang una at kung tumakbo ka sa una, mas magalakas ang chances mo. And it is supported by one fact. Sa SWS Pulse Asia surveys, yung tinatawag na endorsement value. The highest endorsement value is Vice President Binay at 71%. And Noynoy is around 60%. And Erap is 51%. So yun, of the top 3 endorsers, yung dalawa out of the 3 are the leaders of UNA.
Marginal parties, leftist personalities, mga marginal senatorials, andyan pa rin yan.
It has been proven sa Senate race, mahirap sila dahil supposed to be yung bayan muna sila sa Turo Campo, Lisa Masa, gano'n, tumakbo. They were far behind.
Tila Teddy Casino.
Pero to get party list seats in the House, madali sa kanila because you need only something like 300,000 for a party list seat.
And to think, Manong, that sila sa Turo Campo, Lisa Masa joined the Nationalista Party and yet they still... Ibig sabihin, yung mga tao talagang tinitignan sila kung sino sila, no?
Palagay ko may prejudice pa ang ordinary voter sa kaliwa.
Pero merong magaling ngayon dyan si Nery Colmenares. Yan ang potential na nakikita kong sibling umangat sa kanila, among them.
Ano hong nakikita nyo naman sa, like Alma Moreno? I understand that sino itong sa Ladlad naman? Si Danton Remoto is also running. I got to talk to him. I said he's better off running for the sectoral but he wants to run for the Senate. What are the chances po? Kayo po ang veterano dito.
Palagay ko yung oras o tiyempo ng mga artista.
Maliban, no?
Mukhang lumiban na eh.
Ganun ba?
Parang ang tao ngayon laging sinasabing
what's in it for us?
Nasayang lang ang boto nila kay Lito Lapid.
Sa palagay po ninyo, pinipili pa rin nila? Depende sa artista? Tingin po ninyo?
Depende sa artista. Gaya na sabi mo kanina. Kung si Sharon kung tatakbo, malamang malakas yan.
Kasi yung po sunod kong tatanong may usap-usapan na sa pagtatapos ng termino ni Senador Kiko Pangilinan, baka makumbinsin niya si Sharon Cuneta tumakbo for senator. Isa yan.
Baka may kapatid siya, si Anthony. Alam mo, uso ngayon yung kapatid.
Sabagay. Tama yan, kapatid. Or, nadidinig ko rin po si Willie Revillame kasi meron siyang sectoral group na I will serve. They're thinking of whether sectoral or itakbo whether senator. Si Chris Aquino wants to run for Tarlac governor, but if she wants to project for...
So nakita kong early survey, si Chris Aquino at si Willie Revillame, medyo okay ang rating sa senatorial survey. At si Chris Aquino, sa tingin ko, kung Tarlac governor, baka walang kalaban.
Walang kalaban?
Walang kalaban.
Pero kung gusto niya mag-project po ng Vice President or President sa 2016, dapat senador ang takbo niya?
Hindi. Tama na yung maging governor muna siya, basta ma-elect muna siya.
So from governor, takbong kagad siyang Vice President? Pwede ganon?
Pwede.
Like
For that matter, kung siya ang susuportahan ng presidente, pwede siyang presidente din.
Ano po nangyayari sa pamumulitika natin? Why is it usually sa Senate, sa panahon po ninyo, you didn't have to be popular. You just had to be, well-educated. You had the capability. Nagsunog kayo ng kilay. Magaling kayong tao, di ba?
You're talking about the time of Recto, Tanyada.
Panahon ho ninyo. Sabihin na lang natin, kasama kayo. And then,
inabot ko pa sila.
Sa totoo lang, hindi naman sa pag-ano, pero dahil nandito kayo. Kaya nga, minsan, I don't want to say this, kaya minsan nagkakaleche-leche yung bansa natin dahil ang mga katulad ni...
Man of wisdom, hindi na ako, nalibigyan ng chance ulit
Manong Ernie is the kind of dinosaur we need in the Senate.
Correct,
Because ito mga tao na kailangan natin. But anyway, bakit po nagkangyayari na ngayon na siblings are being voted back into, are being brought into the Senate already? mga popular individuals. What is happening to people who, they work hard.
Alam mo, yung name recall factor
Yun pa rin.
Yung tumakbo si Coco, nung una mataas ang rating niya. Kasi ang akala ng tao, si Nene Pimentel pa ang...
tumatakbo.
ngayon, malakas ang rating ni Jackie Ponce Enrile.
Yes.
O baka may mga tao diyang naniniwala, it is Manong Johnny Ponce Enrile who's running. So yung may factor na ganun
Okay.
At,
Pati si Congressman Angara, baka isipin, yun din.
So, siguro it's partly also to the effect of television advertising. Pag pinukpok mo ng pinukpok yung pangalan sa television, yun ang maalala ng tao. Madaling maalala yung may brand name na.
And to the detriment of our political party system po.
Yes.
Dahil lumalakas yung individual
Yes.
So parang, as I call it, Manong, parang it's a birthday party. It's a celebration of the individual rather than of vision and party platforms and programs.
Hindi lang okay lang kung birthday party. Huwag lang kung death anniversary.
Tama yun
May gusto kayo itanong.
Mission vision yan ang nawawala ngayon Well anyway, Senator, maganda yung advocacy mo kahapon na tinakil namin sa radio yesterday at marami natutuwa na kasi sa Amerika ngayon, kahit na matanda ka na, binibigyan ka pa rin ng job opportunity. Kaya ng advocacy ng ating Manong Ernie.
Yes. On one side of the spectrum, hindi ba binibigyan natin ng mga programa na bigyan ng trabaho ang mga kabataan? Meron tayong summer employment program. Meron tayong pay for work, yung nag-aaral ka pero nagkatrabaho ka. Palagay ko on the other side, you have 8 million seniors. And most of them naman malakas pa, lalo na if you're just 65, halimbawa. You just retired as a principal. Kung malakas ka pa, available ka pa. You have so much wisdom and experience to share. So ang sinasabi ko, the government also must craft programs to provide employment, even if only part-time employment for seniors. For example, palagay ko, alam mo sa Amerika, pumasok ka sa mga department store, yung mga salesmen matatanda di ba? Lalo na sa mga shoe store. Senior citizen can easily be a salesman. Or for that matter, cashier, upo lang siya sa cash register. So there's got to be, however, an actual program to try to provide employment for seniors.
Correct. May iba po tayo ng usapan. Basa po ninyo, how do you read the building up political confrontation between former President Joseph Erik Estrada and Alfredo Lim in Manila? How do you see it?
Well, let's choose boxing. Yung isa naging heavyweight champion na Ang kalaban bantamweight champion. So, palagay ko, lamang yung former heavyweight champion.
Yung Liberal Party factor po, wala na yun sa Manila?
Wala siguro.
Hindi pa pakialaman ni President Pinoy yun sa Manila?
Hindi natin masabi. But all I know is President Aquino and President Erap are good friends. And Jinggoy is still there. Bumoto nga in favor of conviction. Then papasok pa si JB. Well,
parehong magaling na bata yung
meaning to say, the President will always have to factor in that he always needs the support of one or he must even two senators in the Senate.
Correct.
So, kung kalabanin niya si Erap, yung dalawang anak automatically magiging kalaban niya.
Senator, you are now officially with UNA. You are a consultant with the Vice President. How is your
I'm officially with UNA now.
Okay.
But as you know, hindi pa ako nare-release na candidate ng UNA.
Okay.
At ang sabi sa akin, for whatever it's worth, kasama raw ako yung sinasabi nilang for the heavyweights.
Okay.
Meaning to say, para bang gusto nilang yung last five na i-announce, halimbawa lang, si Chis Escudero, si Lauren Legarda, si Dick Gordon, ako, and maybe even Jamie Madrigal. So parang yun ang pang-golpe.
Powerhouse.
Mabanggit ko lang kasi nung nung last time na tumakbo to si Manong Ernie, natalo siya sa bilangan, pero alam ko nanalo siya sa eleksyon. Sa
Kasama
2004.
Kasama kami ni FPJ na
Exactly, that's what I was going to say.
Nagdagbawas.
Correct.
Na Garcia noon. Lalo na sa inyo.
Correct. Special.
Hindi ba
yes.
si,
sa Cebu.
si Gloria nanalo by 1 million,
1 million
in Cebu?
votes. Oo.
Because she got 93% of the votes,
Correct.
which is unbelievable.
Correct.
Yung certificate of canvass, on one page lang yun eh. Sa itaas, presidente, vice president, sa baba, senador. So kung manufacture mo yung presidente at vice president, tuloy-tuloy na rin manufacture mo sa baba. Eh, ang nangyari ay lahat ng kandidato ni Gloria ang senador, binigyan niya o ninyo ng 400 to 500,000 votes in Cebu. Kaming mga nasa FPJ ay 100,000 or less. So doon pa lang meron ng plus 400,000 yung...
I remember that because sabi ni Senator Osmeña, John Osmeña.
Pati siya.
When the cat is away, the mice daw were all playing in Cebu. Ganun ang nangyari. At ito si Manong Ernie, na special operation ito ng palasyo dahil magaling pala kumanta ito si Manong Ernie nung kampanya eh. Dahil dun sa kanta na yon, nakadating sa Malacanang at natatandaan niyo po yung kanta na yon.
Talaga na blacklist.
Na blacklist. Pero imagine, in 2004, Manong Ernie won as senator. So that's 6 years plus another 6 years. That's 12 years of incumbency that was robbed of Manong Ernie.
That was documented by the final, there's such a thing, Iglesia survey. The Iglesia leaders told me I was number 8 in the final survey.
Maraming milagro talaga dito.
The irony of it all, ang pinalit sa akin doon sa dagdag bawas operation is a very intelligent person called Lito Lapid.
Ganun ba na yun? Okay.
Which is logical. They would rather have a senator who will not cause them too much intellectual problems in the Senate.
And who is a Kapampangan also.
And that somebody who could probably question their decisions.
Pero look what happened now. Na-realize ni GMA, hindi pala niya loyalist si Tito Lapid.
Ang maganda kasi kay Manong, maganda kumanta ito yung ang bango-bango ni FPJ kasi. Yun yung kanta nagpasikat. At, anyway, yung po dun sa mangyayari dito sa Cebu, mukhang lumalabas po ngayon, dahil nabanggit niyo yung sa Cebu. Si Gwen Garcia, yung Governor Gwen, parang isa lang yata ang kandidato for Cebu, for such a very big province. It's about 1 point plus
Yes, kaya
million.
mabuti nga na si Governor Gwen ay tumakbo. At I think she has a very good chance of winning because of the big Cebuano
Cebu
vote.
Black.
Even despite the surveys po?
Yes. Maaga pa naman eh. Dahil ang sitwasyon nitong early surveys, marami pang hindi nakakaalam na kandidato siya.
Correct.
Maski ako, marami pang hindi nakakaalam na kandidato ako.
So that was supposed to be my last question. At least inunahan niyo na ako na. Okay.
So once the official lineups are released and by October 1, people will also be waiting. Sino ba talaga magpapile? Ano ba yung final lineup? Doon lang ang tao medyo sasagot ng tama sa survey.
Sana po matuloy yung kay Gwen Garcia, no? Pero ang worry ko lang po, baka pag hindi, mawalan kami ng kinatawan for the Senate sa Cebu.
Ang alam ko, tumaas na siya in the sense na yung first survey, which is what they call the Lilo survey, she was something like number 40.
Okay.
And I think in the last survey, she already went up to 33.
Okay.
So she's going up.
Okay. Dito po sa...
And nakasama ko siya sa ilang sorties sa Visayas. She's a very good Visayan speaker. Click siya sa
Saka may
Visayan
karisma.
votes.
May karisma si Gwen eh.
At saka may attraction kasi single pa eh.
Okay.
Single na.
Single na. Ito pong nakikita niyong ARMM registration. Yung ARMM and the Southern Mindanao is always been...
Diyan pinupuri ko si Noynoy. Ayaw ni Brillantes sana yan. Pinilit yan.
Talaga ha?
Ayaw. Pinilit ni Noynoy. Brillantes, of course, and no choice but to follow. So I estimate that, for example, in Maguindanao...
Seryoso pala ito. So you believe this is a serious effort?
In Maguindanao, it's bloated by about 200,000.
Wow.
Cotabato City is bloated by about 100,000.
Terrible.
The whole of Mindanao, I think the voters list is bloated by 1 million votes. So malaking bagay yan.
So you're optimistic that this is already part of the real cleansing process?
It is. It should be. And however, kailangan na talagang implement nila yung electronic voter registration using biometrics.
Biometrics. Yun sa PICOS, are you confident about the PICOS? Or you're still in the woodworks thinking about...
So cynical.
I'm not that confident, but let's put it this way. Yan sa tawag na you're between the devil and the deep blue sea.
You just have to belong to the right party.
Yung manual voting, that is also the deep blue sea.
Okay.
So, let us hope that Chairman Brillantes and this new COMELEC is serious when they say, or they promise, or they represent, na yung mga defekto ng PICOS noong 2010, they will cure it. Yung tinatawag nilang glitches, deficiencies, na yun ay kanilang i-cure.
Senator, ang nightmare ng marami, yung 45 billion pesos for the CCT. Yan kayang pera na yan, talagang makakarating sa tao o...
Ginamit pang politika.
Kasi yung unang-unang...
Makakarating, but even now, yung kanilang pagpili ng beneficiary, including yung pagpili nila ng probinsya o lugar kung saan sila magbibigay, tilted na towards political reasons. So, ang COA mismo nagkaroon ng finding na there are so many double registrants, there are many ghost registrants, and that there are poor provinces with so many poor people that are getting a much smaller allocation than rich provinces with fewer poor people.
Saka, Senator, yung problema dito, yung remember yung Code NGO, yung pinaka ulo nito, ay parang nawala na yung kaso eh. So, paano gagawin natin dyan? Siguro yan ang number one gawin mong advocacy pagka nakaupo ka na.
Well, we'll have a chance to investigate all of this again if we get back to the Senate.
Kayo po ay Mr. Expose, kilala kayo dyan, ano? Graft and corruption po. Better? Worst? Getting worst?
We have to distinguish. On the level of the President, better.
Okay.
Admittedly, wala pang balita na siya ay nagnakaw o siya ay nagbigay ng kontratang siya ay kumita. But below the President,
within his loop,
palagay ko the same.
Patas.
Pareho pa rin. Everything is going
never change.
As worst, therefore you're saying it's as worst. As
yes,
the previous.
Bureau of Customs, pero mo, during glorious time, wala naman nagpupuslit ng 2,000 containers.
Hanggang ngayon, wala na. No? Wala na namatay na istorya.
Dati, 10 containers, 20 containers, tinatawag nilang swing.
Okay.
O ngayon, 2,000 containers, biro mo. At nung research ko yan, ang nakuha ko sa research ko, it was not only 2,000 containers, it was 5,000 containers. Wow. So, billion ang involved.
Okay. Manong Ernie, what are your plans for UNA, for NPC? May plano ho ba kayong tumakbo? Or payag ba kayo na kunin kayo ng UNA, NPC, sasabihin, kukunin ka rin namin, i-endorse ka rin namin sa Liberal Party?
Well, nakausap ko na si Boss Danding Juan ko. Si Boss Danding naman, even in previous elections, kahit na NPC ka, but if you decide that you will run with another party, basta nagpaalam ka lang,
pwede.
Okay lang sa kanya, bibigyan ka ng permiso, with the understanding that after election, you will come back to the NPC fold. You will always be NPC.
That's a good one.
Lalo na ako, I'm in the NPC Constitution.
Emeritus na po kayo
President Emeritus, yes, so hindi naman ako pwedeng alisin doon. But ang problema, nagkaroon ngayon ng rule, ang una, na you have to affiliate with PDP or PNP before they will take you.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, that was, I think, the technical problem kung bakit up to now I was not announced.
Okay. Do we see a possibility, very quickly, NPC endorsing you as a guest candidate in the Liberal Party?
No, no way.
It's not going to happen.
Because considering my 2 years of critical columns, no, you will never accept me.
Okay, that's the final word for tonight. Maraming po salamat, former Senate President Manong Ernie Maceda, Tokayo, Eric San Juan. At wala na po tayong panahon. It's been a great 1 hour. Ito po si Erik Espina. Palagi pong nagsasabi sa inyo, magmasid, makialam, higit sa lahat, manindigan. Sapagkat wala pong magmamahal sa Pilipino kung hindi ang Pilipino. Dagang salamat. Maayong gabi kaniyong tanan.
Thank you very much.